and livelihood. We are starting with the rural livelihoods. Rural means village, and livelihood means earning money, source of income. How do the village people earn the money? You all may be aware. First thing comes that they may be doing farming. Yes, farming is the main occupation of the rural people. Now here an incident is given about the Kalpatru village. Now, you all know that different kinds of people live in different parts of the villages and they have different type of life. Now what type of work they do to earn the money, that we are going to study in this chapter. Now, Kalpattu is a small village near the sea coast of Tamil Nadu. Students, it is imagination, okay? There is not much farming done here because it's near the sea coast, so they do fishing. The village is surrounded by low hills. Paddy is grown in the region. You know what is paddy? Paddy means rice, other name for rice. The water for irrigation is pumped from underground as well as over rainfall. Underground as rainfall over here is scanty. Yes, rainfall is scanty. See, but it has both the rainfall. Two types of monsoon, southeast monsoon and northeast also. Retreating monsoon is also there, but still they face scarcity of rainfall. So underground water is also used for irrigation purposes. Since agricultural land is limited, people have to take up other occupations like pottery making, weaving, nursing, working in brick kilns. Brick kilns यानी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑफ ब्रिक्स. यू नो ब्रिक्स जिसे हिंदी में हम कहते हैं ईंटें. That is called brick kilns. People also work in the construction sites on daily wages. People buy things from the small market in their area. There are no big shops or hotels. Yes, so it's village area. So only small shops are there. So what type of work they do to earn the money? They are pottery making, weaving, nursing, and they also work in brick making factories also, and construction sites also. Daily as a daily wagers, they go there. So this was about the Kalpattu village. Next is the story of Magma. Yes, students. So, before going, yes, now the story of Magma. I will explain you the story of Mangama. Kalpattu. Mangama was a farm worker who works in a paddy field of Ramalingam. So, he is not having his own land. So, he is working in a Ramalingam's field. Mangama used to work as a laborer even before marriage and after marriage. Continued to work from 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 in the evening. Like all casual laborers. Casual laborers means he is getting daily the salary for that. Her husband also works in a daily casual laborer, spraying pesticides in the field. So both husband and wife both are working in the field. When they do not have work in the village, they go to nearby town to work. Because their work is seasonal. Agriculture is a seasonal work. So when they don't get the work, seasonal crops to grow, they move to other area in the city or town to get the work. As a construction laborer, in addition to working outside, Mangama also does cooking, washing, and fetching water at home. So apart from doing the work, she is also a housewife. She is doing all the work in the house, household chorus. Mangama is happy that her daughter go to school. She had to borrow money She has to borrow money. She has to borrow money from Ramalingam on a heavy interest when her daughter falls ill. So, see, they don't have much savings. So, they have to borrow the money for their emergency needs. Since she could not repay the loan on time, she had to sell her bullock. Now, she has taken the money on interest, so she could not repay it. So, for that purpose, she has to sell her the bullock. And if she will sell the bullock, then how she will earn the do the farming work? There is This reflects the reality of rural livelihoods in India. Yes. So this is the actual situation. See, we in cities we don't know how the money comes and goes. Our needs are satisfied. But in the village, they earn how much they could satisfy at the two times of their daily use. That they don't have any extra money or extra savings. If they met with accident, they have to borrow the money. If sometimes happens that there is no rain, they could not grow the crops. Though again they have to borrow the money. So the life of villages or the rural life is completely under the indebtedness. Now they are unable to save money for the emergencies. They have little resources to educate their children and it's hard to make ends meet. Many of the male villagers are forced to leave their houses to find the work in towns or cities. So this is the condition of every villager in the rural areas. They don't get money to satisfy their emergency needs. Now, the next is the bare necessities and debt trap. Story of Samantha. Samantha, a small landowner in a village, needs fertilizers, seeds, etc. for his field, which he cultivates with the help of his friends. So he has a small, now Somnath has a small land. So he is cultivating the land. Somnath in turn helps them whenever they need it. This is done by the mutual trust and understanding in the villages. But sometimes circumstances do not allow them to return the services. Somnath once took a loan for seeds and fertilizers on the condition that he would sell his paddy to the trader at somewhat lower rate than the market rate. Somnath sold his paddy to the trader at lower rates. The leftover paddy was barely enough to meet his needs. So he had to buy rice from the market by working at a Ramalingam's rice mill. Now see what is happening. He has to Somnath's story is different. He has small land, but sometimes happen that there is no rain, so he has to take the loan, and he takes and in that condition he pays the sells all the rice to the trader. But what happens? It is not grown in large quantity, so it was not sufficient for his family also. Now, Somnath's story is the narrative of two-thirds of India's marginal farmers and landless laborers who have to borrow money from the traders, margins, or moneylenders at a hefty rate of interest. So this is the story, students. You have to understand that this is the original condition of people living in rural areas. Half of the time they have to borrow the money, and their life goes on paying the debt only. They don't have their own savings because this rainfall is seasonal, and they earn only for 4 to 6 months of the year. Rest of the time they have no work. So that leads to their condition. Crop failure, flood, and drought causes heavy losses. Yes, because they don't have savings. Whatever they grow for 4 months, with that only they run their life for the whole year. And in that also, sometimes crop is not cultivated or it is eaten by the insects. It's spoiled. Flood destroys the crop. Drought, no rainfall. Then drought condition, or sometimes heavy rain, the crop is destroyed or some emergencies met in the family, some sickness, illness, or accident. So, at these situations, they have to borrow the money, and they are for the whole life in debt condition. The loan repayment gets extended and they fell into the debt trap. Debt trap means scourge. Rural indebtedness is a big problem faced by the farmers of India in spite of several reforms. So, this condition they are unable to solve their problems. Now, before going to the last part of the chapter, students, I want to just explain you what are these primary, secondary activities which these village people do. Now, on the basis of the nature of the work done by the people, occupation can be classified into three categories. That is primary occupation, secondary occupation, and tertiary occupation. Primary occupation are those jobs related to land, okay, on the natural resources. Okay, natural resource means animals, cattle rearing can be done, farming, fishing. This type of work is called as primary occupation. Here, students, primary occupations means which is done on the basis of natural resources. It can be farming, fishing, cattle rearing. Now, second type of occupation is the secondary occupation. That those jobs in which natural products are changed into the other forms through their manufacturing, such as industrial, some factories. Here, students, so primary occupation is working on the natural resources. Secondary occupation is getting the raw material from the natural resources and developing industries or factories. Now, tertiary occupation is those jobs which provide services such as banking, transport, communication, teaching. These are the services, so it comes under tertiary occupations. Clear, students? So three types of jobs are there: primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary means on the natural resources, cattle rearing, farming. Secondary occupations means developing industrial work, factories, and tertiary means providing the services. Now, again, the farmers are also of three types. See, based on the area of the land, the farmers have been classified into four categories. Four types of farmers are there. First, landless farmers. Landless farmers means those farmers who do not possess any land of their own. They work on the land of other farm on daily basis, and most of them are living in poverty. They are called as landless farmers. Dear students, again I repeat, landless farmers means those who don't have their own land, but they are working on others' field. As we saw on the first part, Kalpattu village story, and working on the Ramalinga's village farm, that were working on others' field. Now, small farmers, those farmers having less than 2 hectares of agricultural land, they are mostly subsistence farming. This type of this type of farming mostly have their lands after plowing until harvesting season, and they do manual work and earn money to add to the family's total income. So they have small scale farmers means they have land less than 2 hectares. Clear, students? Now the third is middle or medium farmers. There are the farmers with the land area between 2 hectares to 5 hectares. Clear? So middle farmers have 2 to 5 hectares land, and they use agriculture implements for cultivation and harvesting. They hire tractors and threshers for planting and harvesting. So third farmers were middlemen or the medium farmers. And the last one is the large scale farmers. These are the farmers with the large land area more than 5 hectares. Here, students, so middle farmers have 2 to 5 hectares, and the large farmers have more than 5 hectares land, and most of they employ their other landless farmers. What happened is large scale they are employing other farmers to work on their field, and they use modern agriculture implements such as tractors, harvesters, threshers, and they are very rich. These large scale farmers are rich and live luxurious life. Their farming is mostly commercial farming. Some of these farmers also carry out other activities like trading, owning mills, shops, etc. because they don't have to work on the field. They employ other workers on their field. Only they do observation work. So they have lead a comfortable and a luxurious life. So students, this was about the type of farmers. Now about the terrace farming in Nagaland. So here is also about the word terrace. Yes, now the life in the rural areas, a tough task. Yes, why in the rural areas it is a tough task? Because in rural areas, most of the marginal farmers and landless farmers live in abject poverty. Only 2% of farmers are rich and sell their. Hmm. Yes, students audible, Chetna audible. Okay, so life in the village is completely. See, in the village life, it is completely very hard life. They live continuously in the poverty, and only 2% of the farmers are rich and sell their products in the market. Life for poor people is tough in the rural areas, and so they have lead a very difficult life, students. Now we are going through the terrace farming, students. This type of farming is done in the hilly slopes. You might have visited hill stations like Shimla, Manali, Masuri. There you might be finding this type of farming is done. See, terrace means at the top of something. This type of farming is done in mountainous regions. The hills are cleared and small step ladder type of fields are made on the hills. See, you can see on the screen steps like सीढ़ियों के जैसे that their areas are cleared on the hilly areas. However, we are going to learn about a village called Sizami, which is in Pek district of Nagaland. The people living in this village belong to a particular community called Texan community, and they are experts in terrace cultivation. So, students, this is about the village of Sesame in Nagaland. They are experts in terrace cultivation. It is also the main occupation of the people in this area. And in this in this type of farming, the land on the hill slopes is made flat and steps are made on it. What they are doing? The landscape is made, the hill on the slope is made flat and steps are made. The side of the each plot of farming field are grown in order to retain the water. The sides of each plot or field are grown in order to retain the water, means the water can be retained. If it is not made on the slopes, then water will flow away. So this is done to stay, make the water retain. This allows water to stand in the field, which is very important for rice cultivation. Yes, students, because rice needs plenty of water. Proper sunlight also is being needed. And on many hilltops, another type of cultivation is called zoom. Is also practiced. Yes, zoom means shifting cultivation. Millets, maize, French beans are also grown here. Now, in the zoom, which means shifting cultivation, millet, maize, and argon, the land is abandoned after few years of cultivation in favor of new plot of land. The yield under zoom cultivation is much lower than the terrace farming. Yes. Now see, zoom cultivation means what they do for 4 to 10 years, they grow the crops at one place, then they shift to another place, clear the field, burn it, and they start growing at the new places. This is called shifting cultivation. The people of the village do have their own fields, yet they work collectively on each other's field. They carry on working together like this until their work is completed and the step ladder type of fields are ready. The main source of livelihood means work of many people is also from non-farming activities. Some of them have to taken to selling of milk to the village cooperative society or collecting and taking it to nearby town to sell it. It's their main source of livelihood. Yes, students, not that everyone is engaged in farming. Some other people are also engaged in other works also. Some they are give out the milk to other villages or they sell out the vegetables also. Now, this was about the field work, students. Now we move towards the next part. How is Purvansh? It is not eating time. Purvansh, stop eating. Now, the life in the coastal areas. In coastal areas, fishing is the main occupation. See, up till now we have gone through the land surface land, what they are doing. So their farming is done. In hilly areas, they do terrace farming or shroom cultivation. Now, now we are going to the coastal farming, coastal areas, that is fishing. In coastal areas, fishing is the main source of livelihood. Livelihood means to earn money. Adjacent to the Kalpattu village is the village of Puduput, where most people earn their living by fishing. So nearby Kalpattu there is another village called the Puduput, where they do farming work, not fishing work. The whole area is littered with nets and boats lying around. Littered means everywhere these nets are spread because for fishing they need the nets. The boats return with their haul of fish in the morning. The fish catch is divided between those who go for fishing. Yes, haul of means a large scale net they are filled with the fishes. They return. Okay, the boat returned with the whole of. Yes, their fish catch is divided. Now, now the, ah, they go in groups. It's not that single person is going. They go in groups. So that catch of fish is divided into the among all the members who are gone, and those who own the boats and nets. Everything is all the persons who have participated or joined. They are the fishes are divided. While the men do the catching, while the men do the catching, the women take fish in baskets to nearby village or towns to and cities to get the better prices. Fishermen often have to take loan for buying nets. Okay. Now the the men do the catching of fish, and the women go to sell in the nearby markets. Fishermen often have to take loan for buying nets, boats, catram- catamarans, engines, and other equipments. This put them also into a debt trap. Life near the sea coast is very unpredictable and challenging. Yes, as in the land surface they face drought and floods. Same thing, same problems are faced by the fishermen also, because sometimes there are floods, heavy rainfall, or tsunami. They cannot go to catch the fish, and that's why their life is also very challenging. They can't predict anything. That today they will have a good haul of fish or not good quality fish they can have. Haul of fish means good quality fish they could have or not, students. So students, this was about the chapter. Now, rural livelihoods, a battle for survival. There are various ways of learning in rural areas. Some earn their living by farming, while others do it by encouraging in non-farming activities. Daily wages earners, casual laborers, and landless farmers have to wage a long battle for survival. Very often they have to migrate to other places to earn their livelihood. Indebtedness is social malaise. Yes, students. So this was